Hey guys, Robert and Ingrid here, and while we're going to be going to see Tron very soon, we did both rewatch Tron and Tron Legacy, and you go first.
I'd say that both movies held up remarkably well in the current day,
And
in their own ways.
The best part is, with the first Tron, the effects, you can just chalk that right up for old school technology in universe.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that? Like, you can just chalk it up like it looks this bad, rough because it was early technology.
Mm-hmm. Like, that absolutely fits the time period, but in retrospect, it has a certain level of aesthetic whimsy that I really appreciate. Though I have to also give the caveat that I also have my memories of playing through the Tron-inspired
Yep.
worlds in the Kingdom Hearts
Yep,
games.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
Yes, and I'm probably going to bring that up for Ares, too, for what they might potentially make, but I digress.
Right. First, let's talk about Jeff Bridges and all of these.
Jeff Bridges!
This was one of his big breaking roles, and he does a great job. Better in the first one.
Yes.
Second one was not bad, but it felt like he was more the dude more than Flynn. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
It felt like he put more acting into not Tron. What's his Clue? He put more effort into Clue than he did as Flynn. Wouldn't you agree with that in Legacy?
Yeah, that definitely makes more sense. Though, to be fair, playing Clue was probably more fun.
Even though the CGI is, again, you can kind of accept it because it's inside a computer, but still.
Yeah.
Kevin Flynn, where are you now? But you have Bruce Boxleitner as Tron, and I forget the character. It's out of world name, but you know what I'm talking about, right? The guy who actually was Tron.
Mm-hmm.
You have that. You have David Warner, rest in peace, as Dillinger, and the MCP.
The MCP!
Oh, boy. So, yeah, this is where you get the whole notion of going inside a computer and you find out there's sentient life. The programs in there actually live, breathe, have personalities and everything. And we're the users.
Yeah.
I defend the users. I fight for the users, all that.
Yeah.
When I think that, you know what I think back to? Reboot.
Oh, yeah, Reboot. I've heard a lot of good stuff about that, but I've never gotten around to watching it. I don't know where you'd watch it.
It's somewhere. I can get you copies of it, but it is really good. But, yeah, so basically, okay, I didn't rewatch Tron 1 very recently, so you can refresh me. It was an accident that got him sent inside, correct?
Something along those lines, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I saw it. But yeah, basically the whole point of it is for Flynn to get in there and just try and get out, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, you have, and again, the acting, again, the case of, I also like how Clue doesn't have much of a role in the first one because he's de-rezzed very early.
Yeah.
But they think it's Clue at first, before it's like, because of course, if they find out users among them,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
and that's a super big deal because this is still very early.
Yep. But yeah, throughout the whole point of the first movie, it's stop the MCP, stop Dillinger, all that. End of line, acknowledge. It's just so effective.
Yeah. Honestly, there are a couple of moments of, like, real humanity in there that I think really stuck out in my mind. Like, it's just like, yeah, I'd rather be a video game developer, but I'm doing this corporate gig or whatever. It's
Exactly.
Like, yeah, relatable. And also the case of, I thought you guys had it all together. It's like, no, we improvise.
Exactly. And also the effects in the first movie are still hold up.
Yeah, I think they hold up because they aimed a lot more for style than they did for strict graphical fidelity, and that always ages better in the long run. It's like, hey, this feels like kind of something that was a landmark of that era.
Yep, and you have the Tron bikes, the classic Tron bikes with the lasers and everything. Mm-hmm. And of course, if you hit the laser, it's a force field, boom. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. You're just like, very effective. Again, throughout that first movie, it is a nice simple story. It's a typical, that felt like a typical 80s Disney movie, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about, right? That kind of whimsical vibe.
Yeah, and liked that about it.
Yeah, but then Tron Legacy, one, you could definitely tell fans, big fans doing this. They looked at it and decided, what would happen, what would logically happen next as technology progresses? And it starts to ask the big question of, one, where and what would you do if you get the problems of giving a program too vague of orders?
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what happened with Clue. Basically, he told him right before he found out there was actual life developing in the system, and he actually said, you must protect and keep it stable. So he's just following his orders.
Yeah.
But it was an order that was made under, I won't say false pretenses, but like lack of foresight. Because then you develop the ISOs, who are basically life that formed on its own without humanity to program it and create it. Clue can't handle that.
Yep.
It's just like, no, this doesn't work. So he wipes them out. And you're just like, Clue, and Clue takes over.
Yep.
Because he feels like if my creator is already questioning the orders he gave me, like he gains a bit of a, okay, actually I do give him props. It's not so much a God complex he gains. It's just he's seeing it through blindly. But what did you think about that? Because again, when you think about Clue was not a character in the first one. So now that we're getting him here, it's, yeah, naturally he should be the bad guy.
Yeah, and it's like extremely more relevant now than it was in its heyday because AI is in advanced enough of a state that it can really do a lot of wide-scale stuff with vague instructions that are absolutely not what people intended.
Yep, and we follow Sam Flynn, that's Kevin's son, who is kind of drifting through life at the beginning, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, he considers jumping off of a building with a parachute to be a fine thing to do.
Yep, and because Kevin's, Sam doesn't know, Kevin went into the server, and he's been staying there ever since. And so with a little encouragement from, again, the guy who is Tron, based off of Tron, encourages him to go in there and find it. And that's where he meets, he sees the upgradedness of the grid. Oh boy, the effects still look amazing.
And the music is still
Daft Punk is so good. And it felt like the natural progression. And you meet Quorra. I love Quorra.
Oh yeah, she was so super good.
And I love how she's a good balance of naivete, smoking hot, of course, and yet a good action character who she's not stupidly blindly naive. That's what I like. It's like I want to go to the real world. But I also know I have to defend things here.
Yeah.
And like I said before, though, this is where we see then Jeff Bridges as Flynn. He's basically like, far out, man. Because basically, he has become almost God on this world. And I think you could just say he's been there too long.
Yeah.
Basically, he's like, Clue's taken over, nothing much I can do but protect Quorra. Because she's the last ISO that we know of, anyway. And basically, the whole thing is that Clue wants to find Flynn so he can get his identity disk so he can use that to get out into the real world and invade it, because he wants to bring order to the real world. Basically, he wants to bring order. Like, if God is flawed, I must go to heaven and correct it. What do you think of that?
I mean, at least from Clue's perspective, it might make some level of sense, but it's also a case of, yeah, I was short-sighted as to what exactly makes something perfect.
Exactly. And again, when Flynn made it, the ISOs weren't there.
Yeah.
He couldn't have even thought about the ISOs there. And then he thought Clue could adjust. He couldn't. Oh, and then poor Tron.
Oh, yeah, getting turned into basically somebody else entirely.
But I loved at the end, I fight for the users.
Yeah.
And Flynn sacrifices himself at the end to reabsorbing Clue. They blow up or something. Basically, they give the Flynn's identity disk to his son. He and Quorra leave. They strike the pose from the first poster.
Ah, Yeah.
I love that. Oh, holding the disc, she's holding on to him at the legs. You're like, oh. And it's set up that they could start over. Basically, they had to wipe the grid. The grid had to be wiped as it stood. But they were going to start over, and they drove off into the sunset. And it was still good. I thought it was a decent follow-up on its own as far as taking a lot of really deep concepts. It took basically, while the first one wasn't that deep, this one made it deep.
Yeah, I mean, you even have a case where Flynn's got a bunch of books by a lot of different philosophers lined up on the wall.
Exactly. Like I said, and like a Quorra, both badass, and yet she can be completely like wide-eyed. Like, she felt like an anime girl live action, didn't she?
I mean, that's kind of a perfect description, but it's just like when you've kind of been contained to this essentially ephemeral space for so long, how much like real world intuition are you reasonably going to expect someone to have?
Exactly. I mean, again, I will say this though, did they overly complicate things in Legacy? Yes. But when you really look at it, it boils down to simply a program taking things too far, too literally, too simple, too basic. And you have to find a way to stop him. But it also shows you the follies of that, because it is so easy to just become a dictator when you have the most basic, simplest of guidelines.
So basically, the lesson of this is to make sure you define your program requirements strictly before you build it, because the computer will do exactly what you tell it to do, not what you want it to do. Very important lesson.
Basically, Clue is the antivirus system programmed, but it doesn't. But it ends up erasing all of your good data or your files because it thinks
didn't expect to find it there.
Yeah, because it looks like viruses.
Yes, that time when you download your friend's game in order to play it, and then the system says, this file could corrupt your computer. Are you sure you want to do that?
But in this case,
I know my friend made it. I'm running it.
Yep, although in this case, it'd be, instead of ask you, just like,
oh, it's gone.
And then it wipes out the whole game. Yeah. And then deletes the disc. Because that's how far Clue would go. But yeah, both of these movies really hold up, I think. Very much so.
Both on a, just general technical level, pun intended, and on a thematic level, and I'd say that they are even more relevant today than they were when they were first made, because now we're actually seeing that kind of stuff happen in real time, where an AI orders $18,000 worth of drinks in the Burger King drive-thru or something.
Yeah, but I'm curious on if they're going to... I would say the other thing I love is all of the programs have personality. They don't have to go through the stupid, they're just completely machines and they must learn personalities. Right, even in the first movie, you didn't have that. You just go right in. They already know what they are. They're not even questioning themselves. They're just like, I'm going about my life. I have personality. I have wants. I have desires. I like that. Because a bad writing would go for that nowadays, wouldn't you say? Or maybe not bad writing, but you know what I'm saying, right? Just it's so overdone. It's all computers are cold and they must learn. That's why I like how this is different. It's like, no, they already know. And yeah, like I said, they don't bother with any of that, and that's really good. Any other thoughts you want to give?
Not really.
All right. Well, after you guys seen this, it'll be my Tron Ares review, however that goes. See you guys on the other end.